Number one, the day you lost your power. You were not born weak. You were trained to be weak. And the worst part is, you didn't even notice when it happened. It happened slowly, silently, while you were busy trying to be liked, while you were busy trying to be accepted, while you were busy trying to be a good person. Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago. He understood something most men will die without ever realizing. The world does not respect the good. It respects the dangerous. It respects the man who cannot be controlled. Right now, whether you admit it or not, people are controlling you. They control you with their opinions, with their approval, with their silence. One ignored message ruins your mood. One moment of rejection weakens your confidence. One person's disapproval makes you question yourself. That is not strength. That is dependence. And dependence is the foundation of control. The moment someone knows they can affect your emotions, they own you completely. They don't need chains. They don't need force. Your need for validation becomes your prison. Your fear of losing people becomes your leash, and they pull it whenever they want. This is the brutal truth. You think you are making your own decisions, but most of your choices are reactions. Reactions to fear, reactions to insecurity, reactions to the need to be accepted. Machiavelli said, men are controlled by two things, fear and desire. And right now, both are controlling you. Your desire to be liked, your fear of being alone. This is why you stay silent when you should speak. This is why you tolerate disrespect when you should walk away. This is why you explain yourself when you owe no explanation. Because somewhere along the way, you were conditioned to believe that your survival depends on others. But here is what they will never tell you. The moment you stop needing, you stop being controllable. The moment you stop caring about losing people, you become dangerous, and dangerous men are free. This is where your transformation begins. Not when you gain something, but when you remove the need for everything. Number two, your need is their weapon. Every time you need something from someone, you give them power over you. This is the law no one teaches you. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your friends, because most of them are trapped by it too. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He knew that control is never forced. It is surrendered, voluntarily, silently, and most men surrender it every single day. You surrender it when you need approval to feel worthy. You surrender it when you need attention to feel seen. You surrender it when you need love to feel complete. And the moment someone senses that need, the balance of power shifts. They may not even realize they are doing it, but their behavior changes. They reply slower. They respect you less. They test your boundaries. They withdraw their attention just to watch your reaction. Because human nature is drawn to power and repelled by dependence. The one who needs less controls more. This is why the man who can walk away always wins. He is not stronger physically. He is stronger mentally. He is not chained by fear of loss. He accepts loss as part of life, and that acceptance makes him untouchable. Look at your own life. The moments you felt the weakest were the moments you were afraid to lose something. Afraid to lose a person, afraid to lose an opportunity, afraid to lose approval. Fear makes you negotiate against yourself. Fear makes you tolerate what you should destroy. Fear makes you betray your own standards, and once you betray yourself, the world stops respecting you too. Because respect is not given to the man who stays. It is given to the man who can leave. Machiavelli said men are less careful to offend a man who makes himself loved than one who makes himself feared. This does not mean you must become cruel. It means you must become independent. Because independence removes their greatest weapon, your need. When you need nothing, they have nothing to manipulate. When you expect nothing, they have nothing to withhold. When you fear nothing, they have nothing to threaten. And in that moment, the control they once had over you disappears. Not because you fought them, but because you no longer belong to them. Number three, they study your weakness in silence. No one announces they are going to control you. They study you first, quietly, patiently. They watch what hurts you. They watch what excites you. They watch what you tolerate. And most importantly, they watch what you are afraid to lose. This is how power works. It does not attack your strength. it attacks your weakness. Machiavelli understood that men reveal their weakness through their behavior, not their words. You may say you are strong, you may pretend you don't care, but your reactions always expose the truth. The moment you overreact, you expose your insecurity. The moment you chase, you expose your dependence. The moment you explain yourself too much, you expose your lack of authority. Strong men do not need to explain. Their presence explains everything. But you were conditioned to seek understanding. You were conditioned to prove your worth. And proof is the language of the powerless. The powerful never prove. They simply decide. And here is what most men never realize. People test you on purpose. They disrespect you slightly. They delay their response. They cross small boundaries, not to destroy you, but to measure you, to see how much they can get away with. And every time you tolerate it, you teach them how to treat you. Every time you stay silent, you give them permission. Every time you accept less, you become less. This is not cruelty. This is human nature. People do not respect you because you are good. They respect you because you have limits, because you are willing to walk away, because you are willing to let them lose you. The man who fears losing people loses himself, but the man who accepts losing everyone becomes untouchable, because he cannot be negotiated with. He cannot be pressured. He cannot be controlled. Machiavelli believed that fear of loss is the greatest weakness a man can have, because it makes him predictable, and predictable men are easy to manipulate. Right now, whether you realize it or not, people know your patterns. They know what makes you stay. They know what makes you break. They know how to control you. And the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing, because the longer you stay the same, the easier you are to control. Number 4, the moment you started betraying yourself. Control does not begin when they overpower you. It begins when you betray yourself. The first time you stayed silent when you should have spoken. The first time you accepted disrespect to avoid conflict. The first time you chose temporary comfort over permanent dignity. That was the moment you taught the world you could be controlled. And the world never forgets that lesson. Machiavelli understood that power is rooted in self-respect. The man who respects himself sets invisible laws around his existence. Laws that no one crosses, laws that no one questions. But the moment you break your own laws, you destroy your own authority. Because authority is not what you say, it is what you tolerate. Every time you tolerate something beneath you, you redefine yourself beneath it. This is why most men live powerless lives, not because they are weak, but because they are afraid of confrontation, afraid of rejection, afraid of standing alone. So they compromise, they adjust, they shrink. They tell themselves it is temporary. They tell themselves it is necessary. But every compromise leaves a scar, and those scars become your identity. Slowly, you stop recognizing yourself. You become quieter, smaller, easier to control, because you are no longer acting from strength. You are acting from fear. Fear of losing connection, fear of losing security, fear of losing validation, and fear is the favorite tool of those who seek power over you. They do not need to threaten you directly. Your imagination does it for them. You threaten yourself, you silence yourself, you weaken yourself. Machiavelli warned that men often surrender their power to avoid discomfort, but discomfort is the price of freedom. The moment you choose comfort over truth, you choose slavery, because comfort keeps you compliant, comfort keeps you obedient, comfort keeps you controllable. Powerful men understand this. They do not chase comfort, they chase independence. They are willing to be misunderstood, willing to be alone, willing to be disliked, because they know something you don't. Every time you betray yourself, you hand over your power, but every time you choose yourself, you take it back. And most men will never have the courage to do that. Number 5, the power of emotional detachment. Your emotions are the strings, and anyone who can pull them becomes your master. This is the truth most men are too afraid to accept. You believe your emotions make you human. You believe they make you real. But in the hands of the wrong person, they make you controllable. Machiavelli observed that men who cannot govern themselves will always be governed by others. And emotions are the hardest thing to govern, Because they do not ask for permission, they react instantly, blindly, and every reaction is a signal that reveals your weak points. When you get angry too quickly, they learn how to provoke you. When you get attached too quickly, they learn how to withdraw from you. When you seek reassurance, they learn how to make you chase it. This is how control is established, not through force, but through emotional dependency. The one who stays calm controls the one who reacts. The one who stays silent controls the one who explains. The one who feels less controls the one who feels more. This is why emotional detachment is power. Not because you become cold, but because you become disciplined. You stop giving reactions for free. You stop letting people know what affects you. You observe more. You speak less. You reveal nothing they can use against you. This is the mindset of dangerous men. They are not emotionless. They are in control. They feel everything, but they show nothing because they understand a simple truth. The world cannot manipulate what it cannot see. When you become emotionally unpredictable, you become psychologically untouchable. People lose their ability to control you. Their silence no longer hurts you. Their absence no longer weakens you. Their opinions no longer define you. You become self-contained, self-sufficient, free. Machiavelli believed that the strongest position a man can reach is independence from emotional influence, because influence is the doorway to control. And once that door is closed, no one enters your mind without your permission. This is the moment you stop being the puppet and start becoming the one holding the strings. Number 6, stop explaining yourself. Every time you explain yourself, you lower your position. Understand this clearly. Explanation is not always communication. Most of the time, it is submission. It is you seeking permission to exist as you are. And the moment you seek permission, you admit they have authority over you. Machiavelli never wasted words trying to justify himself to those beneath him. He understood that power speaks through certainty, not through negotiation, not through pleading, certainty. Weak men explain because they fear being misunderstood. Strong men remain silent because they understand that being misunderstood is a form of protection. When you explain your decisions, your boundaries, your standards, you expose your inner world. And once exposed, it becomes vulnerable to attack. They question you. They challenge you. They look for cracks in your reasoning, not to understand you, but to control you. Because the more you explain, the more you invite judgment. And judgment is the tool they use to weaken your confidence. Look at powerful men. They do not argue with everyone. They do not defend every accusation. They do not correct every opinion. They let people think whatever they want because they know something you don't. Your life does not improve when everyone understands you. It improves when no one can influence you. The man who stands firm without explanation becomes immovable. And immovable men are impossible to control. But you were taught the opposite. You were taught to over-communicate, to over-justify, to over-prove, because you were taught to seek approval. Approval is the drug, and explanation is how you earn it. But approval is also the chain, because once you depend on it, you become its slave. Machiavelli warned that men who seek approval surrender their freedom, because they begin living according to other people's expectations, not their own authority. This is why silence is power. Silence forces others to face uncertainty. Silence creates distance. Silence creates respect. When you stop explaining, people feel your strength. They sense your boundaries. They realize you are not easily influenced. And slowly, their control over you disappears. Not because you fought them, but because you stopped giving them access to your mind. Number 7, become comfortable with losing everything. The greatest weapon anyone has against you is the threat of loss, the threat of leaving you, the threat of replacing you, the threat of removing something you value. This is how they control you, not by what they give, but by what they can take away. Machiavelli understood this with brutal clarity. He knew that the man who fears loss becomes a servant to those who can create it. Look at your decisions. How many times did you stay when you should have left? How many times did you accept less than you deserved? Because you were afraid of having nothing, afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of the unknown. Fear of loss makes you negotiate with your own dignity. It makes you tolerate disrespect. It makes you remain in situations that slowly destroy you, because your mind convinces you that something is better than nothing. But that belief is the foundation of your chains. Because as long as you believe you cannot survive loss, you will always be controllable. Powerful men live by a different code. They do not cling, they do not beg, they do not depend. They accept loss before it happens, they prepare for it, they make peace with it, and that acceptance removes fear. When you are no longer afraid to lose, no one can threaten you. When you are no longer afraid to walk away, no one can trap you. When you are no longer afraid to be alone, no one can control you. This is what makes a man dangerous. Not his strength, not his intelligence, but his independence. His ability to exist without needing anyone. Because the moment you need nothing, you become impossible to manipulate. People sense this. They feel it in your presence. They realize their usual tactics do not work on you. Their silence does not shake you. Their absence does not weaken you. Their rejection does not break you. And suddenly, the power shifts. Machiavelli believed that true freedom belongs only to those who are ready to lose everything, because only then do you truly own yourself. Number 8, master the art of not reacting. Your reaction is their reward. Remember that. Every time you react emotionally, you give them confirmation that they can reach you, that they can disturb your peace, that they can control your state of mind. And control of your mind is the ultimate victory. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful man in the room is not the loudest, not the most aggressive, but the most controlled, the one who cannot be provoked, the one who cannot be shaken. Because when a man cannot be shaken, he cannot be controlled. Weak men react instantly. They defend, they argue, they try to win every battle, but strong men observe. They pause, they choose their response, or they choose nothing at all, because they understand that not every action deserves a reaction. Silence confuses people. Your calmness frustrates them. Your lack of reaction removes their power, because they were expecting access to you. They were expecting influence. They were expecting control. And when they don't get it, they lose their position. Most manipulation works through emotional triggers: anger, jealousy, fear, insecurity. These triggers are buttons, and manipulators press them to control your behavior. But when those buttons stop working, they are left powerless. This is why emotional discipline is rare, because it requires strength. It requires awareness. It requires you to rise above your instincts. Your instincts want to react. Your instincts want to defend your ego. But your ego is the doorway to your control. Machiavelli believed that a wise man remains in control of himself at all times, because self-control is the foundation of external power. When you master your reactions, you master your life. People stop seeing you as easy. They stop testing you. They stop trying to manipulate you, because they realize something has changed. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer emotional. You are no longer available for control. You become calm, calculated, untouchable. And in a world where everyone reacts, the man who remains still becomes the one everyone fears. Number 9, build a mind that cannot be owned. Control does not live in your body. It lives in your mind. If they can enter your mind, they can rewrite your reality. They can make you doubt yourself. They can make you question your worth. They can make you hesitate at the exact moment you should act. And hesitation is where power dies. Machiavelli knew that before you can rule anything, you must rule yourself. Because the man who cannot command his own thoughts will always follow the commands of others. Look at how easily your mind has been shaped. Since childhood, you were taught to obey, to fit in, to seek approval, to avoid rejection. You were trained to fear standing alone. And that training never left you. It became your internal voice. The voice that tells you to play safe. The voice that tells you not to risk. The voice that tells you not to lose people. But that voice is not your ally. It is your prison guard. It keeps you inside invisible walls. Walls built from fear. Walls built from conditioning. Walls built from weakness. Powerful men break those walls. They question everything. They question opinions. They question rules. They question even their own fears. Because they understand that most limits are illusions, created by the mind and reinforced by society. The moment you stop blindly believing your fears, they lose their authority over you. The moment you stop seeking external validation, you become internally complete. And completeness cannot be controlled, because control requires insecurity. It requires doubt. It requires emotional gaps. When there are no gaps, there is no entry point. This is why mental sovereignty is the highest form of power. When your mind belongs only to you, nothing external can dominate you. Not rejection, not criticism, not loss, not pressure. You remain stable, focused, unbreakable. Machiavelli believed that the strongest fortress is the mind of a disciplined man, because no enemy can breach it, no manipulator can exploit it, no force can conquer it. And once you build that fortress, you stop being a man the world shapes. You become the man who shapes the world. Number 10, become untouchable. This is the final truth. No one can control a man who has nothing left to prove. Let that sink in. Control only exists where there is insecurity, where there is doubt, where there is need. But when a man becomes complete within himself, control dies. Machiavelli understood that power is not about dominating others. It is about becoming immune to domination, immune to manipulation, immune to emotional leverage. This is the man you must become. A man who does not chase approval, a man who does not fear rejection, a man who does not break when he stands alone. Because standing alone is the ultimate test of power. Most people cannot do it. They need the crowd. They need validation. They need reassurance. But you are different now. You see the game. You see the invisible strings. And once you see the strings, they stop working. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop needing. And slowly, the world loses its grip on you. People feel your change. They cannot explain it, but they sense it. Your silence becomes heavier. Your presence becomes colder. Your absence becomes more powerful than your attention. Because now, you choose. You choose who deserves access to you. You choose what deserves your energy. You choose when to walk away. And the ability to walk away is the ultimate power. Never forget this. The man who can leave anything can be controlled by nothing. This is what Machiavelli wanted men to understand. Not to become cruel, not to become heartless, but to become sovereign, to become untouchable. Because the world respects the man it cannot move. From this moment forward, stop being the man who reacts. Become the man who decides. Stop being the man who needs. Become the man who chooses. Stop being the man who fears loss. Become the man who welcomes it. This is how you take your power back. This is how you become free. And if you are ready to live as the man no one can control, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this is only the beginning of your transformation.